Kim Kardashian's latest TV show, All Is Fair, is being labeled the worst TV show of the year, a crime against television. It literally has a 0% on Rotten Tomatoes.
This was a show that initially got reviewed at 0%, only to eventually hit the lofty heights of 6.
For Kim Kardashian's newest show on Hulu and on Disney Plus called All's Fair, it was pretty easy to assume that this was going to be a cringe fucking disaster.
Like, what gives here? You know what I mean? This is not fair.
I've watched this shit. It is fucking bad. The worst TV show of the year. What the critics are saying about All's Fair.
And then who's the lead lawyer? Kim Kardashian, for some reason. It's mind-blowing.
Oh my God. Both she and it are the worst thing I've ever seen.
Kim Kardashian walked onto the stage expecting at least a normal welcome. But the moment her name echoed through the room, a wave of boos rose up and hit her fast. The reaction moved through the crowd, and she froze as the sound grew louder. No one expected such a direct burst of frustration. The collapse of All's Fair had followed her for weeks, but this was the first time she felt the backlash in person. Online noise was one thing, but hearing real people boo her changed everything. The moment pushed her past a line she had quietly tried to hold together. She tried to continue speaking, yet every word became harder. She wasn't just embarrassed, she felt betrayed by a project sold to her as a major win. Now, she looked like the one carrying the blame for a disaster she didn't create. That pressure built until she couldn't hide her anger. What happened next spread online within minutes. Kim didn't stay calm or quiet. She reacted with raw emotion that shocked everyone. That single moment turned the All's Fair collapse from a slow decline into a full meltdown, and it set the stage for a story Hollywood couldn't ignore.
In fact, the only positive review was from Decider. It's over the top, campy as hell, but it knows that it's crap.
Critics can't get behind this. Ryan Murphy's All's Fair debuts with a 0% on Rotten Tomatoes. One critic said this may be the worst TV drama ever.
To the series, it's putting Kim Kardashian in it. I will say Kim Kardashian is an issue here. Her acting, especially as a lead, is wooden.
The booing didn't come from one corner or one upset fan. It spread across the crowd fast and caught the entire room off guard. Kim had walked in with a steady smile, but the noise drowned everything before she said a single full sentence. The shift from excitement to tension happened in seconds. People closest to the stage looked stunned. Some tried to clap to cover the sound, but the boos only grew. Kim tried to push through her opening line, yet her voice trembled as the noise refused to fade. The reaction wasn't random. It was the result of weeks of growing frustration.
It has to be kind of watchable and have some good fashion, right? No, it doesn't have a single one of these redeeming qualities. It's an embarrassingly terrible show with scripts worse than what ChatGPT was spitting out 2 years ago and acting worse than your local Christmas pageant.
Phones shot up everywhere. Fans recorded the moment with the same shock Kim felt as she stood there. The more she tried to ignore the crowd, the more obvious her discomfort became. Her eyes tightened as she struggled to steady her breathing. Nothing about it looked staged or controlled. Within minutes, the clips hit social platforms. The boos became the symbol of a bigger story linked to All's Fair. People said the crowd expressed what millions watching the show felt. Kim tried to hold her composure, but the humiliation followed her long after she stepped off stage.
Among us, who the fuck does he think he is? Senior managing partner.
Their first line of the she's so bad.
All's Fair show on Hulu is an enigma. An anemone.
The show had strong marketing, a huge push, and Kim's name attached, yet the numbers dropped fast after release. What started as a promising launch turned into a slow slide that surprised even Disney insiders. Week after week, the viewership dipped until it almost vanished. Fans said the writing felt flat, and the tone felt confused. Others believed Disney didn't understand the audience it was trying to reach. Instead of excitement, the episodes created frustration. The disconnect grew as people tuned out, and the discussion shifted toward disappointment.
It felt dirty. I felt dirty after having watched it, if that tells you anything.
I'm not gonna lie to you, this was really shit. As a woman, I'm embarrassed, and I hate to say
Disney actually invented the best comedy of the year, expecting to be like, yeah, go get them men, and instead, well, they found out they resembled that remark.
Behind closed doors, Disney saw the trend and panicked. Charts showed the audience leaving faster than anything they had released in months. Promo teams tried hiding the decline by reducing visibility. Even staff working on the show noticed the silence from leadership. As the disappointment spread, memes and jokes took over. The show became an easy target. Clips circulated online, shaping the public perception before Disney could respond. By the time the booing happened, All's Fair had already become a symbol of a messy rollout that spiraled out of control. Disney executives started questioning the project long before the public realized anything was wrong. They worried the tone didn't fit the direction the company wanted. Some felt the humor was too sharp for their audience. Others believed the themes might spark unwanted debates. Meetings grew tense as the numbers kept dropping. Fixing the show required rewrites and time the studio didn't want to invest. Fresh shoots would have cost more, and the fear of deeper backlash stopped every plan before it started. Leaders wanted distance, not risk. Internal teams said the shift was clear. The show went from being heavily promoted to quietly sidelined. Managers stopped discussing long-term plans and focused on moving resources elsewhere. The retreat felt sudden to the crew, but slow and deliberate to the studio. When the booing incident hit the internet, many inside Disney saw it as confirmation of their fears. They believed the public reaction proved they were right to pull back. But what they didn't expect was Kim snapping on stage, forcing the story to explode beyond their control. Kim held her posture for as long as she could, but the noise cut deeper than she expected. She had taken harsh comments online before, yet hearing a live crowd boo her changed everything. It wasn't distant or abstract. It was right in front of her and impossible to hide from. As she continued speaking, her voice shook. The pressure of weeks of criticism pressed down all at once. She felt like she had been thrown into a storm she didn't create. She had trusted Disney to deliver a solid project, but now she stood alone taking heat for every failure attached to it. Backstage tension grew the moment she walked off. She confronted her team, demanding to know why she wasn't warned that the backlash had reached this level. She said she felt blindsided by the silence from the studio. Her frustration turned sharp and pointed with every word. Her reaction leaked online within hours. Clips showed Kim looking angry and drained as she left the stage. People said they had never seen her look that shaken. The booing became the moment she reached her limit, and it made everyone question how the situation had fallen this far. The team behind All's Fair watched the booing clips with disbelief. Many had no idea the backlash had grown so intense. They expected critiques but never imagined Kim would become the direct target. The live humiliation shook everyone who had worked on the show. Writers said they never received a clear explanation from Disney about what went wrong. They felt the studio abandoned the series once the numbers dropped. Some believed the marketing leaned too hard on Kim's name instead of building the story itself. That imbalance left her exposed when things fell apart. Producers felt frustrated as well. They said the show had potential, but Disney pulled support too early. Without promotion, the series had no chance to recover. The crew felt they were left in the dark, watching the disaster unfold from a distance. As the booing spread online, the team feared it would follow them into future auditions and meetings. They felt their reputations were being shaped by a decision they had no control over. The fallout didn't just hit Kim, it hit everyone who touched the project. Inside Disney, the message became clear after the first signs of backlash. The studio wanted safer content. They began steering away from anything that carried sharp themes or heavy commentary. All's Fair landed right in the middle of that shift and became an early casualty. Executives feared that every risky idea could turn into a public storm. They watched online debates grow colder and louder, and they worried those reactions would spread to other projects. They believed stepping back from All's Fair would protect the brand long term, even if the public never heard the full reason. Teams inside the company were told to redirect focus to lighter and safer concepts. Projects that once looked promising were slowed or sidelined. All's Fair was treated like a reminder of what could go wrong when the studio gambled on the wrong tone at the wrong time. For Kim, the shift felt personal. She believed Disney had pulled out before giving the show the support it needed. When the booing went viral, she saw it as the result of a studio trying to protect itself while leaving her standing alone in the spotlight. The moment Kim was booed, Hollywood felt the shockwave. If someone with her influence could face that reaction, what did it mean for everyone else? Agents began warning clients to avoid projects that felt even slightly risky. The industry tightened up overnight. Writers said they trimmed bold ideas from scripts because they didn't want to see their stars face the same backlash. Producers whispered that studios were now reacting to comments online more than the quality of the work. People feared one bad moment could destroy years of effort. Executives across Los Angeles watched the clip and felt uneasy. They saw the boos as a sign that public patience was running thin. They wondered if audiences were tired of corporate-safe storytelling or if they had simply lost trust in the show's decisions. No one agreed on the answer. Kim's meltdown pushed the discussion further. She didn't hide her frustration, and that vulnerability made the moment explode even more. Hollywood realized this wasn't just a PR issue. It was a turning point that showed how fragile big projects could become when a studio pulled support too soon. As the booing clip made waves online, people started asking how the show had collapsed so fast. Younger viewers said the series felt too polished and lacked real edge. Older fans felt the writing didn't match the marketing. Every group saw a different flaw, and that divide widened the disconnect until the show lost its core audience. Rumors spread that All's Fair reached 0 viewers, and even though the claim wasn't fully true, the numbers were close enough to spark fear inside Disney. Internal reports showed a steep drop that the studio didn't want to make public. They worried the truth would reveal deeper issues with their new strategy. The silence made the collapse look even worse. Online backlash buried any chance of recovery. Clips criticizing the show reached more people than the episodes ever did. The narrative couldn't be flipped because the internet had already decided the show failed. The booing became the final blow that confirmed the public's perception, turning the series into a cautionary tale. Kim took the humiliation personally. She realized she needed more control over her creative projects. People approached her offering new partnerships with fewer limits. Some encouraged her to build her own production line to avoid another situation where a studio pulled back too early. The meltdown that embarrassed her also opened unexpected doors. The booing incident didn't fade away. It exposed how fragile a major project can become when a studio retreats and the audience loses trust. All's Fair was already struggling, but that one moment pushed it into a bigger cultural conversation about failed promises and rushed decisions. Kim's emotional reaction turned the spotlight directly onto Disney's handling of the show. Her vulnerability made the story human and raw, and it forced people to look past the surface. Instead of quietly accepting the collapse, she showed the frustration everyone felt, but never said. That honesty shifted the narrative in her favor. Fans were left with questions Disney never answered. Those gaps created a louder debate about the direction studios are taking and whether safe storytelling is costing them loyal viewers. The incident became a symbol of an industry struggling to balance creativity with caution. In the end, All's Fair became more powerful canceled than active. The meltdown on stage, the fallout online, and the silence from Disney created a story bigger than the show itself. Until studios take risks again and stand by their choices, more projects will fall the same way, leaving stars like him to face the backlash alone.